Okay guys, thanks for joining my new video. In this video today, I'll be taking apart a few laptops. So I have laptops ranging here from 18 years to about 5 years old. As I say in all my videos, I probably could get money if I sold them on eBay more than I'll make from scrapping these out, but this is about seeing what's inside them, what's of value, and stuff like that. So if this is your first time checking out my videos, please subscribe to the channel. I will try and have a new video every week of taking some electronic device apart to see what precious metals are inside, such as gold, silver. So just bear with me and we'll try and learn together on some of this stuff. So we'll start off with one of the laptops here by taking off the screws on the bottom. So I'll start by removing the screws in the base of these laptops. So as I say in a few of my videos, just be safety first. Anything, time you're using a knife, chisel, anything like that, always put gloves on. Knife can slip very easy, embed itself into your hand. So no amount of gold, precious metals or anything like that is worth losing a finger or anything like that over. So what I'll do is I'll pause this video here at this stage. You don't need to see me taking out every individual screw. When I've taken out all the screws, I'll return and we'll go from there. Okay guys, just one quick thing. When you remove the screws from the back, a lot of the time the laptops will also have screws on the front. So it's just to get access to these screws. A lot of time it's under your keyboard. So what I'd like to do is I like to just pry it with a screwdriver. I put a screwdriver underneath. I release the keyboard from the board, and that will give me access to the screws underneath, which have to be removed as well. So again, same as I was doing on the back, it's just remove any of the screws here. I like to remove every screw I can see. It makes it as easy as possible in later on when I'm taking stuff apart that I haven't missed a screw. So I like to just loosen every screw now that I can see, can get access to. So once I've released all the screws, then that should allow the laptop to come apart a lot easier. Now sometimes there will be a screw hidden somewhere. There always seems to be in it. So again, I'll come back to you once I've removed all the screws and we're ready to take the laptop apart. I'll come back on that. You don't need to see me removing all the screws. Okay, so I've removed most of the screws now. I've removed the screws from the front of the screen here. So as you can see there, then all I do is I lift off the bezel from around the screen. That gives me access to the screen. And as you can see here again, we've got some screws here and some screws over here. So what I like to do now is just remove that to allow me to remove the screen completely from the laptop, so that we just can be working away with the main body of the laptop rather than have a screen there as well. I prefer just to get away with that. So I'll just remove them. Okay, so just having a quick look here now. They don't seem to be gold plated in there. Them connections aren't gold plated on this one. Some of them will be gold plated. So again, if they're gold plated, just put that aside. stored with your gold plating stuff that you wish to process at a later date. So we'll just take that apart. Have a look at the contents. Again, I'll do a test just to see if that is silver plated. Just in case. If it is, I'll put it in with my silver plating. Other than that, this not really much here. A little chip here that we can take out, put in with our chips if you wish. And that seems to be about it really. Under this plastic, we'll have a look and see if there's anything of value. So again, we'll have a look at these. They look like to be a copper, but we'll get a closer look when I remove the plastic. We'll come back to him. Okay. So you can see I'm just removing the screws from around the screen itself. So this should allow me to remove the screen from the main body. Okay. Again, as I say on time, if this screen was working, you can remove it fairly easy. And if the screen was working, you may get a buyer on eBay for it to give you a few pounds. It'd be worth more than just throwing it out. But as I say, I have no interest on selling any of this on eBay. This is stuff that I like to take apart myself, learn from, see what each computer has. So I'm not too worried if I break the screen in removing it, but some people would prefer to keep it all intact, and then they could maybe find a buyer on eBay that they can make some more extra cash from that way. But I prefer to just take it all apart. So if people are looking there now and shouting at their screen, why am I taking this apart this way? I have no interest in selling any of the parts out of this. This is for my own learning. So I've removed that screen from there. So what I'll do is when I get back now to the back of the laptop, I just set my camera up differently to show you taking apart the back of the laptop. Okay, so I've removed all the screws from the back. As you can see, these two are still left here, but they're loose. So I've removed them. Usually under here you'll find your RAM, but this laptop, as you can see, already has had the RAM removed. So there is no RAM here. Under here is my Wi-Fi card. So again, that little Wi-Fi card has two little screws in there, which I need to remove. So again, we have a little screw here, a little screw here. So I'll just quickly remove them for you. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on every part of a computer. As I say, this is what I do. It's not what you do. Some people may do it better. Some people may have an easier way of doing things. But as I say in my videos, this is the way I do it. I'm not telling you to do it this way. I'm not saying you have to do it this way. I'm just saying this is the way that I do it. So we'll just leave that aside for a second. We'll have a quick look at the card. So again, if this was working, and and you could maybe sell it on eBay, get a few more pound for it than what is scrap value, because scrap value will always be the lowest value for any particular item you have. So the board itself will not give as much value for scrap value, or the laptop should I say, will not give as much value for scrap value as if you sold it as a working model to someone on eBay who may have a use for it. A lot of these laptops that I'll take apart will also already have had their hard drive removed. It's very hard to come across laptops nowadays that still have the hard drives. People like to remove them, so they're afraid that if their personal data is on it, that someone can get their information, banking details, passwords, stuff like that. So you can understand why people remove the hard drives. Any laptop I get belong to anyone that give it to me, what I'd usually do is destroy the hard drive for them in front of them. I'll take it out, I'll take it apart, take out the disk and destroy it. So again, on this board we have a few chips. So we have a few little chips that I'll just cut off with a chisel. I'll run the chisel down alongside them and remove them, just put them in there. Let me see, we have silver content in here. So we'll have a little bit of silver content in here, platinum content. Again, I don't as I say, I haven't started refining any of the items, so all I do is just collect at the moment. So I'll put them into tubs as I go along. I'll strip them out. I'll add them to the little tubs with all the chips or little connectors, anything there again. So again, I'll check and see if this is silver plating. There's plenty of videos up there on how you test for silver from plenty of good guys out there on the internet. So well, that's that one there, and I will just leave him aside. Okay, so now we've access in here, so doesn't seem to be any hidden screws under that. So again, we have a little screw here in this corner underneath where the RAM would be stored, so we'll just remove him. So you'll see this a lot on laptops. You'll remove one part, when you take it out you'll find that there's screws hidden underneath there again. So laptops seem to have a lot of screws holding them together, which makes it difficult for taking apart sometimes. Okay, I think he's loose, yes. Okay, no more there. So we'll have a go at prizing them apart. So I'll just get my screwdriver and try and pry them apart somewhere. Okay. Okay, I've left a little space here to try and move it along now, so I'll try and follow that along to where the board meets the rest of it. So that's coming away nicely. So as you can see, the battery, again, you may, if it's a good battery, it's holding its charge. You may find a buyer on eBay. I find a lot of these batteries aren't holding the charges. They're old batteries. People have abused them. They've been charging, using the laptop, charging them up at the same time, which destroys any battery. So again, a lot of time them batteries are not resellable on eBay. They will have gold connectors in along here. Again, like a lot of mobile phone batteries, laptop batteries always have these little gold connectors. In future videos I'll show you how I remove these gold connectors from the batteries. So we'll leave him aside and put him in my battery pile. Okay, as you can see, the disk drive. So this is our DVD drive. Again, very little precious metals in them. You'll have some gold connections along here. We'll take him apart in future videos as well, where we take a lot of these apart, show you the boards inside, what's worth thing. But today is mainly just looking at the main board on the laptop, seeing what precious metals are on the boards, what is value, and that's mainly it. So again, we were getting a bit of access, but there seems to be a screw holding it somewhere, so we'll just have to have another look. Ah yes, I have missed one screw. up in this corner. So again, we'll just pause the video. When I have the screw removed, we'll come back to it. Okay, now we've fully removed the back, removed all the screws that I could see visible. So we're ready just to have a look at the board itself on this laptop. This is a fairly basic board. So we've removed the heatsink. Again, I've removed the screws that was holding that heatsink in place. So we have our aluminium, copper. So again, people can separate them, put them in their aluminium stockpiles, copper stockpiles. That doesn't be long adding up when you remove all of the things. So again, clean this up. You have your little sink heat paste that would attach it to the processor. So that gives us access now to our processor. So we'll just have a look here at this processor. It looks to be a fairly basic. I think it's a P4. So we'll have to get a smaller screwdriver. Okay, seems to fit all right. So a lot of these processors on the newer laptops will be P4s. Again, a little bit of gold content, as you can see here. A little bit of gold content on them. Not a great value. Again, you may be able to sell it on eBay if it was a working processor. But a lot of these processors with their age, no one has any interest in them, as in value for making laptops, anything like that. So I just put them in with my processors, so that'll be put in with the pile of processors at the end of it, and we'll see what we have in processors on these laptops today. So again, you have your gold. There's, in future I hope to do a little bit of processing of these. At the moment it's just collecting them, so we'll put them aside. So then on the board itself, we have little flat pack chips or IC chips. So again, I'll cut down along that with a little chisel, and that'll allow me access to remove them, and I'll add them to my collection. This one, with being the age of it, it had a floppy drive on it. So again, if I try to get you closer to it. So again, that's just a little floppy drive. Seems to have all the screws removed, so we should be able to lift that out of its position. No, we've missed one. So as I said already, a lot of the time there's a lot of screws in this, which can be very frustrating. You could spend a lot of time looking for this hidden screw or something like that, which will be holding up everything. So again, there's a little screw in there. Okay, so as we can see from this ribbon, again, it doesn't seem to be gold. It's more than likely a silver contact, could be tin contact. So again, a little test on that, and if it's silver, I'll trim that down, put it in with my silver to be processed. Again, not enough real value on this. In a future video, when I'm taking apart the CD drives, DVD drives from laptops, I'll take this apart as well with it. So again, straight away, we have another screw here that was hidden underneath the drive. So to get the access to the board, we'll have to remove him. So again, once I've removed all the screws from the board, just have a quick look around it. I've seen another one hidden up here. Another one needs to be removed from here. And that seems to allow me access into the board. Then doesn't seem to be any more screws anywhere, so I'll remove them and I'll come back to you. Okay guys, so we finally got the board removed. We're at the stage where we remove the board from the actual body of the laptop, so we can get a closer look at a few of the items in here. So looking at the board itself, And as I said, I have a few gold contacts, gold connections, gold contacts in here. So they can be put, again, if you want, you can remove the pins from here, put them in with your gold pins, gold contacts, gold contacts. Other than that, very little value on it. A few chips. Then on the other side, which are, again, a few IC chips, which can be removed by using a chisel. I'll show you in a second how I remove them. Also, we have an Intel chip here, gold on the corner, so that would mean that's a higher grade chip. Not as high gold content usually as the actual processing chips, but it will be of a higher content of a chip. So I'm going to show you how I remove these. Also, just while we're here, if we zoom in a small bit, these, wait for the camera to focus, these here, as you can see, are gold plated. So again, I will remove these. So again, you can remove these fairly simple. Quick wiggle between the fingers on the board will remove the chip, or remove the gold plating contact. So again, they'll be put into my jar with my gold contacts. So all these add up. A lot of people look at them and go, oh, that's only a small item, not much value there. Not on its own, there's not much value. But if you can collect enough of these and you get a couple of kgs of these over time, you will have a bit of value then there, and money wise, once you process them. Or you could sell them on eBay to someone else who would further process them. One thing to watch out on eBay is a lot of, as I've noticed now at the moment, a lot of people are overpricing their stuff. So a lot of new people going in, getting into this, thinking they make quick money on it. You're going to get caught out. If you see something online and it seems too good to be true, it is most of the time. You have to watch for people bidding you up. I've noticed I've actually reported a few people on this. I've seen a few items that I was interested in, and people were bidding me up on it, but they weren't legitimate bids. Then they'd pull out of it at the very end and leave you with to pay the higher price for it. So I've reported a few of them on that. Just be careful on that. If you come across that, if you're being bidded up, just a little thing on eBay, you're being bidded up and you think it's suspect, just report to eBay. They look into it. If they find that it was the person themselves bidding you up, or one of their friends bidding you up, you don't have to go carry on with the deal. I had a deal there during the week for laptops. I set my price for the amount of laptops I wanted to buy off the person. They kept bidding it up and kept bidding it up. So I knew it was suspect. I reported them, and their ad was pulled from the eBay. So just keep an eye for that. Don't get fooled by people. So we'll just leave that aside now, that little contact. So this chip here now, this little chip here, I will remove by using this chisel. So again, as I was saying in the previous video and this video and videos to come, anything sharp I'll always put on the gloves when I'm dealing with it. In case the chisel slips, I don't want a chisel embedded in my hand. So hopefully this chisel, I couldn't find my smaller chisel, but hopefully this one will do the same for me. So what I like to do is I like to get the chisel in under one of the corners. So I find a corner that doesn't have many contacts around it, which makes it easier to get in. So this one here seems to be, this corner here seems to be the easier one to get into. So I like to try and get the chisel in underneath. And it looks like this chisel may be too big, but it may also work. Not exactly easy, but we're getting in there. So once we get in far enough, we should be able to pry the chip away from the board, like so. So that's it. Chip now has been come away from the board. So second stage of what I like to do with these chips. So as we can see here now, this is the little chip with the gold contact on it. So what I like to do then is separate the cap from the chip itself. So for that I'll be using a little blade. So again, keep the gloves on. So that's the blade. So again, try this time to get the blade between the gold and the actual black cap. So as you can see now, I've got that in between them, and I just move that around like so, until I've cut all the way around. And now I've removed the cap from the actual fibre board. So again, these caps can be processed by incineration. You will have gold contacts, bonding wires inside of the cap itself. So there's plenty of videos up there. As I say already, there's a few of the lads that I've watched their videos who do very good stuff. There's a lad called the Happy Scrapper. I think he's based in Canada. He does a lot of where he incinerates the chips to get the gold. So if you check out his videos, and you'll see how he does that. So as I said, that will be put into the thing. And as you can see here on this one, again, you can see the gold bonding wire in the center of these chips. So that will process them. Again, it shows he has good videos on how he processes them, how he extracts the gold from these. So check out him, Happy Scrapper, very good videos. Plenty more. I'll be putting links to a few of the other lads' videos in my own video here. So if you want to check them out, there's plenty of them there. I'll be also putting links to two Facebook groups who give very, very good information on gold recovery. So that's the one of the more valuable parts of the computer board when you take them apart. So again, how I remove these chips, I'll just give you a quick demonstration on how I remove these chips. So I just get my chisel, I move it along until I have destroyed the connections between the chip and the board. Now you can use a sharp knife. I just find the chisel the best. So again, I'll turn it. I'll give it a quick move down this side so that it's doing it on both. So I've more or less two sides of it taken away from the board. So that should then allow me to get my chisel in underneath and remove completely from the board. So again, I will add these to my collection of chips that I've removed from various devices, computers, laptops, routers, and I just store them up in my little container. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strip out the rest of my laptops. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 laptops there to strip out. I'll strip them out. We'll come back at the end when I have everything stripped out completely. I'll show you the little piles of stuff. I'll weigh them out and give you the information on what I got on it. But that's the main, what you're going to find in most laptop boards is your IC chips, your processor chips, your as I like to call them, the gold marked chips. I'm sure everyone has different names for them, proper names. It's usually gold corner chips. I'll remove the gold plating or the gold connections. Any gold connection I see visible that are easy to remove, I remove them. And then more or less I'll put that board aside until a later date where I'll do a full remove of all the small connections, all the small ICs that are too small. I'll use a sand bath for them. So in future videos I hope to do a sand bath where I'll be removing chips from mobile phones, removing the rest of the small stuff that I didn't remove from stage 1 of stripping out the laptop board. So I'll put that board aside. I'll take off what I can now, and whatever I don't need yet I'll put aside for future processing. So I'll be back to you now once I've stripped out all the laptops, and we'll do a quick run through on what we're left with and what we've collected. So okay, now I've pulled all my laptops apart. There were 7 laptops that I pulled apart. So just to refresh on a few things on it. So after I pull the laptop apart, this is the board, basic enough left. I've removed the CPU processor from it, and I've gone and I removed any of the flat pack chips or any of the IC chips that are fairly large that I could remove with the chisel. So I've removed all them. As you can see, I've still left the gold pins. There are gold connectors. There's a few gold connectors here. On them I'll remove them at a later stage. They're not a major thing to remove. They're fairly easy to remove. Just zoom in there. So that's our little gold connector. If it'll focus for me. Just zoom out a small bit. Okay, so you can see there, that's the gold connector. So we just remove them gold connectors. I'll put them in with my gold pins. Fairly straightforward to remove. You can either remove them by hand, or you can get a little pliers like this and just pull it away from the board. So we have it just left here then. Okay, so you can see there, there's our little gold connector. So I'll put that in the jar with my gold pins or my gold connectors from laptops to be processed at a later date. Where the battery meets the board, there's connectors again. These are gold plated or gold flashed, whichever you prefer to call it. So again, straightforward. I just get the pliers, bend them back, and they just break away from the board. So that we have it just here then. So that's your little gold connector. So again, I'll just do that again with them all there on all the boards I'm left with. I'll run across them, pull out them little gold connectors. So again, I'll just zoom out. So you can see the little connectors here, they're along here. So again, I just got my pliers the last time, or pinchers or whatever, and just removed it, pull them away from the board. So they're straightforward, they add up. Just put them into your gold bearing pin jar that you're collecting up. So there we have our little connectors from the board. So again, I just throw them into the jar. You won't find adding them all up over time. So I'll go around the board, I'll remove all that sort of gold connectors on them. Also on the laptops, you'll have your mouse pads. So your mouse pads, when you remove them from the board, from the laptop, as you can see, we've gold flashing all around the edges, some in the center there, again around the edges. Now, a lot of the time, if you put these into a live bath, which if you want to see online, I put a link to, I think it's Moose Scrapper, has a good video there on doing them with the mobile phones, removing the green mask from them. A lot of times you will find that these could be gold plated underneath. So I hold on to them, I'll collect them up, and again I'll do a video hopefully in the future in a live bath with these, removing them with my mobile phones. I'll do it at the same time as I'm taking the green mask off the mobile phone boards that I'll be doing in the future. So I just put them aside, but they're another little good source of gold. As you can see, gold again, gold, a lot of gold on these. So again, I have seven of them from taking them apart in the boards. I also got a lot of RAM. Actually, there was a good few of them laptops still had RAM in them. So as you can see, we have our gold flashing along here, and we'd have our IC chips on the RAMs as well. Now, my next video I'm going to do is actually going to be on RAM. So if you want to see how I remove the gold fingers and remove the chips from them, that'll be on my next video, which I hope to have up next week. So again, I'll put them RAM sticks aside. What I do is I hope to do maybe a kg of them, and just to see what weight of chips we have and how much gold fingers will I get out of a kg weight. Most of the gold on these boards will actually be in the chips from reading online, looking at what other lads are doing. So again, some people just remove the fingers and then they sell the boards on eBay with the chips still attached. I prefer to remove them completely, collect up the chips, just put them into a jar, into a bucket, whatever, and just keep collecting them up until you're ready to process them. So I'll do a video next week on them. I also got my processors. So I actually have 8 processors here from 7 laptops. So in one of the laptops there was 2 of these type processors when I removed it. So as you can see, they are a different type of processor. Again, they're an Intel processor. So I got 2 chips from one laptop, which was a nice surprise to get. So I'll put them aside. I'll add them to my collection of processors, so they'll go into a jar aside for processing as well. Also, you have these. These are the connectors to connect the hard drives in the laptop. The hard drive connects up against your ribbons. So they have nice gold pins in them. Again, fairly straightforward to remove, I find. Once you've got them down to this stage, you can just get your little pliers, grab at the end here and just remove the pins. So you have the pins there, as you can see, the gold pins. So again, I'll put all them pins aside, I'll put them into a jar, collect them up, and just they'll all add up at the end, and then at some stage we'll process all them pins. So again, I'll just leave them aside there for a second. So that's them there again, same thing. You have your gold pins in here, so there's all your gold pins across here. So just collect them up, remove the pins, process them. Also, a lot of the boards where the keys are, or where your on/off buttons are on them, have these type boards on them. Underneath there will be silver contacts most of the time. So again, I leave these aside for processing with my silver. Again, at the back, a little silver on there. We have a few more boards here with silver contacts. So again, I'll process all them together with the silver. The silver when I'm going processing boards for silver, switches for silver. So here again, we have it here with the silver. So that there is silver, and we have silver contacts underneath these switches. So again, I'll process all that together. I also got one hard drive, so there's still one hard drive in it. I'll probably test this, see if it's working. If it's working, it could be worth selling on eBay. It's a 250 gig hard drive, so again, I could get a lot more money out of that than I will from scrapping it if it's working. Now, again, I have some that aren't working that I will be doing videos on. So again, you can see the gold contacts along here, so they can be removed, your gold contacts. You have your board yourself, again, will have IC chips. So I'll do a video in the future on them. Keypads, again, I got 7 keypads out of them. Underneath them will be silver milers. So I'll gather them up, and then when I have enough to process, I'll process them for silver. Again, IC chips. These are the IC chips that I removed from the board. So as I was saying, I just to collect these up. They don't take up any room. Just put them in a little tub. What I do here. So I have a little tub here, as you can see, which I have all my IC chips that I've gathered up over time. So again, I'll just add them to them, and that's it. I'll put them aside, keep gathering them up. A couple of tubs, they all add up. And said if you want to see how they're processed, Happy Scrapper has a very good video up there on that. The gold corner chips that I removed from the board, again, I have them here. So as you can see, I've already started removing the black caps from the actual fibre board. So as you can see underneath, we have our gold flashing, if we can zoom in here a bit, or our gold bonding wires, should I say. Oh, too much. So there's our gold bonding wires that we have all around the board. So again, once you remove the black cap, that reveals the gold. So I have another one here. This was quite a large one actually, so I haven't removed the black cap from that. So what I'll do now is, while we're at it, we'll remove the black cap. So again, I'll be using a knife into the corner, so I'll stick on a glove while I'm doing this, so that if the knife slips, it shouldn't take the fingers off myself. So again, I usually, where the gold corner is, I usually try and get the knife in underneath there, which can be a bit difficult sometimes. Okay, so now we've got it in underneath the black cap, and I'll just work it around. So again, as you can see, that knife slipped, the chip cut, but lucky enough I had a glove on myself, so I didn't cut myself. So again, the black cap, as you see, split across there. So there will be gold bonding wires inside of the black cap, and also again under the chip you can see the gold bonding wires. So there's a nice selection, nice array of gold bonding wires here on this one. So I'll remove the rest of that black from it, and I'll put that in with the rest of my chips that I've already from other times that I've done them. So again, you can see there that I've built up a nice little collection of them with the gold bonding wire, which I'll process in the future. So that's more or less it. I've all batteries. Again, I've got all the batteries from them which have the gold connections on them, which I'll remove in another video. I have the CD drives that I'll be working on, the DVD drives, and there's a few floppy drives in the older laptops that I'll do a video on taking them apart. So please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it. I'll be putting links up to a few other people's videos that I find very useful. I'll put links up to the Facebook 2 groups that are very good for information. A lot of good lads on there who know a lot of stuff, who will help anyone out. They don't mind sharing information. So I'll put links in to both of them groups, and hopefully enjoy the video. Please like, subscribe and comment. Thank you.